It took me over 5, maybe 6 years to get to the point where I was making at least $10,000 a month. And that was like a big coveted, like, I want to get to this point moment for me, right? And that was something I reached for and went after for a really, really long time. Now, of that 5 or 6 years, I probably only thought it was possible for the last like 2. But I think fairly often about like what I would do if I was starting over. What if everything was taken away? What if my whole business went up in flames? What if I didn't have a social following? What if I didn't have this channel? What would I do starting over to get to that 10K mark quick so that, I could build a business quicker than what I did the first time? Welcome back to my channel. I'm pumped that you're here, and I'm really pumped for this video. Not only do I think about this a lot, like, what would I do if I started over? But I think it's one of the more common questions that I get on social media, right? Like, Jessica, that's how you do it now, or Jessica, that's how you did it once you got to this level, but what would you do if you were brand new or just starting out? And I have those answers. Like, I know what I would do. I know that if I started a new business tomorrow, I know exactly what I would do, because I would want to hit certain income levels quicker, because that's the lifestyle I'm used to at this point, right? And I would want to do those things a lot quicker than I did with this business, with my first business, right? So if I was brand new, starting over with zero followers, with zero money, with zero everything, and I wanted to get to that 10K month mark, here is what I would do. A few days ago, I had someone from my real life send me a message I think on Instagram, and she was like, hey, when you get a second, can you give me a call? And so I did. I took a second while my kids were playing outside, and I gave her a call. And the basic question was, I have got to quit my 9 to 5. I've got to get out of corporate, but I don't know how. I don't know what to sell. I don't know what to market. I don't know how to make money. And, everything I teach and preach is like passive income and selling on a 1-to-many scale. And that's awesome. And I think everybody should work towards having that in their business eventually. But if you are brand new and you have zero audience, you have zero money, you have zero anything, and you need to make money. So, you're looking at, I need to quit corporate. And in order to do that, I need to make $5,000 a month, or I need to, make $2,000 a month, or I need to make $10,000 a month. With zero audience to throw behind it, with zero things set up, it's gonna take you a really long time to get to that 10K marker with passive streams of income. Because you have to have people who know who you are and what you sell and want to have what you sell before they're going to go through your affiliate links, before they're going to buy your courses or your digital products. And that's just the way it is. Like, we can't change that, right? And with zero money, you don't have any money to throw at ads. So it's a whole thing. So basically then she was like, I need to quit corporate. I've been following you for a while. I know you talk about digital products a lot, but I really don't know where to start there. I don't know what skills I have, et cetera, et cetera. And I told her the same thing that I want to tell you in this video, and the same thing I've told clients in the past. Like, my very first coaching client that I ever had, who is now a dear friend, but my very first coaching client that I ever had, went back in the day when I first started doing business coaching, came to me with a more passive idea for income, a more 1-to-many idea for income. But she was at the point where she needed to make 10K a month or maybe more in order to be able to keep going in her business, or she was going to have to go back to corporate. And that is not a good feeling, right? And I knew at that moment that she couldn't get the current thing she was working on to that level in the time frame she had. We needed to get there a different way. And that's the same thing I told this girl that called me the other day, and it's the same thing I'm getting ready to tell you here. If you are starting from scratch, if you are brand freaking new, and you need to hit that 10K a month marker, or any kind of money per month marker, you need to be offering a service to people. You need to be offering some kind of 1-to-1 service that you can charge a high ticket for and that you are good at and you can market well. One-on-one offers, service-based businesses don't take near the audience numbers to make the money that passive income, courses, affiliates, YouTube, etc. take, right? Like they just don't, because you could have one client that you charge $3,000 for, and that's $3,000 a month, whereas it may take you eons to get there with passive products. So if I was starting all over, I would do exactly the same thing I did the first time, except I would do it better and I would be more informed. I would take on one-on-one clients in some way and perform a done-for-you service in some way. Now for me, way back in the day when I started my business, that was web design. The problem was I didn't value my own services enough to charge actual decent money for them, and I felt really limited by my local area, which still to this day, 10 years later, is not paying people what they deserve for services such as that. So if I was starting all over, I would offer those same web design services or, marketing services or something that I know how to do, and I would charge a correct amount for it. And I would focus really heavily on how many clients I needed to get to a certain level per month, like whatever that number is for you, because it's going to be different for everybody. I would focus really heavily on getting those people in to become clients so I could make that money. Then I would move forward with building my audience and things like that. That's what I would do. I would not start trying to go the one-to-many model if I know I need the money and I need to bring in, a certain amount per month. The one-to-many model takes a while to build. Now, you can do it at the same time as you're offering client services, but essentially I would start with client services. Now I know what the next question on your mind is. Well, what do I do? If you're watching this, you may be like, but I don't know what my skill sets are. I don't know what I can do, what I can offer as a service. Because that was the first question that she had on that call the other day. She said, but what can I do? And that was the first question my client I was telling you about said too. Now, in both of these instances, both of these lovely women are doing something in corporate now that they may not be able to directly say, I'm going to offer that as a private service, right? Like, let's say you were a clerk of court. You were like, oh, I want to start my own business and I need to do a service and I want to build off my skills. You can't go be a clerk of court in a private sector. Like, you have to be a clerk of court at the courthouse. Right? But that's thinking at a very surface level. Dig down, and what skills do you have? Like, as a clerk of court, are you really good at data entry? Awesome. Go find some clients to help to offer that service to. As a clerk of court, are you someone who's really good at numbers, at bookkeeping? Awesome. Go do that. If you're in HR in corporate, then you're really good at managing a team. And you can offer that service as like a project manager, an OBM, which stands for Online Business Manager. You could use the skills you use in your everyday job, even if your everyday job can't directly come out of corporate and you can't directly start a business in that way. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So many of us have the skills needed to do a lot of the highest paying one-to-one client work jobs there are right now. So again, going back to my roots, there's web design. I taught myself web design from a Web Design for Dummies book. I wish I was joking. I'm not. I wish I was joking, but I'm dead serious. Basically, I had one web design class in college and I learned the basics of like what HTML is, and I decided I wanted to build my own site. That's how it started. I wanted to build my own site, and I taught myself Dreamweaver back when Dreamweaver was a thing. And I had an infant, and it was a lot of long nights and like craziness, right? But I taught myself that. And then I got into this like world of blogging and was like, well, you can't blog on a Dreamweaver site. So I learned and taught myself WordPress. From doing that, from, my background as far as what I studied in college, which was advertising, and my skill set that I just naturally had, which was design, I was able to teach myself something that I could then charge a premium price for. Now, back then, like I said, I was not charging near enough at all. and I was working myself to the bone. But before I kind of phased out my web design clients and phased out my web design business, I was then charging, the going rate for what you're supposed to charge for web design. And that is where I could have hit that 10,000 per month mark really easily with that client service. I would have needed 2 clients every single month to do that. Now, the skills you have in corporate with, management and data and being able to do the things on the computers could easily transfer to being a VA, which is a virtual assistant, or an OBM, which is an online business manager, a project manager, a social media manager, a consultant. There are so many things you can do with the skills you already have to provide a one-on-one service to people. If I were starting over, again, rug pulled out from underneath me. Now I have way more skills that I could market, right? Like, I'm really great at marketing. I'm really good at YouTube. I'm really good at this. I'm really good at that. So I could then say, you know what? I'm starting just from scratch. I need to hit that 10K marker quickly. I'm going to come up with a package to consult large companies on how to use YouTube, and I'm going to hit the ground running and get the clients I need every single month to hit the number I want to hit. And then, and only then, I would move into building my audience so that I have an audience to make passive or one-to-many income from. So that's kind of the second part of what I want to talk about. So if I was starting over, I would start with a client-based business. I would start with one-on-one services. I would start with something that I'm good at, and I would charge good money for it, and I would hit the numbers I want to hit. But I would also simultaneously be building an audience so that I could, again, sell courses, incorporate affiliate income, get ad money, get sponsorships, etc. Because I know, for me personally, I love that business model, and there's so much more I can do with that business model as far as income and as far as expansion than the one-on-one model. Now, I'm not saying you can't scale a one-on-one model. You absolutely can. You can turn it into an agency. You can, hire other people to do the things that you do. You absolutely can do that. I'm not saying don't do that. Do that if you want to. But for me personally, since this video is titled what I would do if I was starting over, I would get the clients I need to get, make 10K a month, and then I would start building my audience. How would I start building my audience? I would first start an email list so I had somewhere to put them, quote unquote, put them. Then I would pick one social media platform to focus on, and I would go all in there so that I was gaining followers there to then send to my email list or then send to whatever I want to send them to. And then I would start either YouTubing or blogging. Odds are for me it would be YouTubing because I know how to do that. And I know that YouTube is really great for one, being able to build your audience, but two, being able to make money while you do it. So that's what I would do. I would have this client-based business going over here, and while I'm running that, while I'm raking in the money over here and helping the peoples, I would be doing the things over here to build up an audience so that I could transition into the one-to-many aspect of business. So if you're someone who is watching this and you're struggling with, you don't know what you want to do with your business, or you want to start a business but you don't know how, or you don't know what to do to start one, or you're someone who is, kind of like pedaling and not getting anywhere, especially if you're going in the one-to-many model, so courses, digital products, passive income in general, If you're someone that falls into those categories, then hopefully this video was really helpful for you to show you that you can do one thing to fund the path to get you to your end goal. So yes, your end goal may be passive income, and it may be courses, and it may be digital products, and it may be, some other aspect here. It may be being a full-time YouTuber. It absolutely can be, right? But if you need the money, like if you're not just sitting there already rich and independently wealthy and you need the money, there's absolutely nothing wrong with starting by offering a service and letting that sustain your lifestyle and also allow you to have a little money to build out the passive pieces. I feel like that was probably not what you expected to hear, and especially from someone who talks about passive income all the time, but it's the honest truth. If I knew that everything would be gone and tomorrow I had to wake up and within a month or 2 months figure out how to get to 10K a month, this is what I would do. I would offer a premium service, I would get there, and then I would use the cushion of that to build out something else that I wanted to work for. Another example I want to give you, and it's one that I have seen a lot from just being an observer and also have seen a lot from my past clients, and that is oftentimes we want to start businesses that require capital to start them and run them, right? And they require overhead. So like, let's say you want to start a restaurant, or you want to start a clothing store, or you want to start, you want to develop an app or whatever. You want to start something that is going to be expensive to start up and is going to have a lot of overhead involved with running it. And if you're starting from zero, if you're starting from scratch, that's going to feel really unobtainable because you don't have the money to throw into it and you don't have the resources. So if you will back up and offer some type of service to help fund your dream, you'll get there a lot quicker. Alrighty, so I'm gonna wrap this video up right here, but don't forget that I am hanging out in the comments for the first 30 minutes after every video drops, and I want to hear from you down there. If you have questions about this, or if you have a different way that you would get to that 10K marker first, let me know. And if you're just starting out, please let this serve as motivation for you that you're not doing anything wrong and that you're on the right path, because I think so often we see people like, I make $1 million and I literally work 2 hours a month or whatever, and we get discouraged. And I don't want you to get discouraged, right? So use this as a motivation to say, okay, I get it. I know what I'm gonna do now and I'm gonna go forward. And even if you're already on the path of passive income or one-to-many, services or products, don't think that you have to just stay on that path if it's not working for you. You can let that ride on autopilot while you retroactively build a client-based business so that you then have the money you need and you have the resources to kind of put into the thing that is not working for you right now. So also down in the comments, I would love to hear if you have any ideas for future videos for me. If you have any questions that I could take and turn into a video or a video series, I would love to hear it in the comments below. But for now, come hang out with me down in the comments. And if you are brand new here and you're not yet subscribed, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any other tips and tricks and fun videos like this one every single week with your girl Jessica. Bye y'all.